Welcome to the Messy Girls Club. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I am so excited. We are celebrating 100 episodes of the Messy Girls Club. I honestly cannot believe we are at episode 100. It has been a wild ride, but truly I'm so thankful to God for all He's done through this podcast, the people that it's reached, and just the ways that He has grown me through it. To celebrate 100 episodes, oh my gosh, we are bringing on multiple different people to get the behind the scenes of me and just my podcasting journey and just who I am as a person, because I feel like you guys don't always get to see who I am behind the scenes. So I've brought on 4 amazing guests to share with you the behind the scenes of Sierra, the Messy Girls Club, and all things with it. A few faces and names are going to be people who have been on the podcast previously, and then I also have 2 new guests, which is so fun. I get to bring on both of my sister-in-laws, which is so cool that they support me and help me in this journey, and now we're on the podcast. And speaking of that, I'm introducing one of them right now for you guys. So Hannah is on the podcast with us, and she's going to answer some questions about the Messy Girls Club. So my first question for you is, are you a messy girl?
110%. I mean, 10 minutes ago I was steam mopping my floor to try to clean up before we started this? But yeah, easily.
So yeah, I mean, you're in good company, as I don't think anybody has answered no to that. So you and I also am one, hence the Messy Girls Club. So because you're a messy girl, I just want to know, what does the Messy Girls Club mean to you?
Oh gosh, you put me on the spot, girl. I don't know. I mean, kind of like a safe place.
Yeah.
That makes sense. A place that's open for anybody, like people who steam off their floor 10 minutes before a podcast.
Yeah, it is definitely for all kinds of people, and I feel like I definitely focus on being too messy for God and all of those things, but what I also try to share with other people is it's not just about being too messy for God, it's about just being messy in general, but still showing up. And when I started my YouTube journey, I feel like I really had to embrace the Messy Girl Club message, because I was always so worried, like, oh, I'm in a vlog, but I have like clothes on the floor or dirty dishes in the background.
Make it all look presentable and perfect.
Yeah, because that's what you see on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, I am telling people about the Messy Girls Club, and now I really have to embrace it, because I have to just record and be open with people, because it's not just about being messy in the sense of messy as a person, too messy for God. It's also just showing up authentically. All right, I have one last question for you, and it is, what do you think would be cool if this podcast did? Or like, is there a guest you would love to see on here, or something like that with it, like growing?
I'm gonna shoot really big on this. The guest I would love to see someday, Sadie Robb.
Oh, I was wondering if you were gonna say that.
Yeah.
Would be really,
That would
really
be
cool.
awesome.
I've read her devotionals, and she is just a very genuine, like, love God type of girl, and I think it would be really cool to have her on here.
Huge family person.
Yeah. That would be a really, really cool goal to eventually get there, and I really want to start having more guests on. It's just so hard to reach out and find people willing to come on different podcasts, especially being a smaller podcast. But I truly hope that this grows, but also grows the way God wants it to, and not just grows from me like pushing and burning myself out, because it's all for God. It's all to reach whoever He wants it to reach. And once I kind of put that down, instead of like pushing, it started to grow. And so it's so important to not focus on how we can make it grow, but there are so many people that I think would be really, really cool to have on.
What do you think? Who do you want on?
Okay, so
obviously Sadie Robertson.
yes, that would be cool. I follow a few other like Christian podcasters, but I really think it would be cool to have Blake Guichet, I might be butchering that. She used to be the host of the Crappy Christian, and is now, she did a rebrand and it's called the Speakeasy.
Yeah.
And she is just very real, very authentic. I've been following her for many years, so I just feel like she would be really cool to have on. I also have listened to, I can't have all these people like on my Truth Talks with Tara. So I've been listening to her podcast for many years, and she again is just very authentic, very fun. I love to listen to her podcast with Tara Sun and just see like her and her, like she shares different stuff about her and her kids. I don't know, there's all kinds of people that I follow online that would be really cool to have on, that just really authentically love Jesus and share about it and just want other people to grow in their faith. And I think that's so cool that we're able to hear all these different people's walks in their faith, and it can help us grow. And it's just really, really cool to see the people in front of me walking that and like reaching out to different people and stuff like that, and seeing the ways their stuff grows and learning from them, that then I can come and share my journey with all of you guys. But yeah, there's so many different people that I think would be really cool to have on here, and maybe
someday
maybe I will have those people on here and be looking back on the 100th episode and be like, wow, God, like that's so cool. So yeah. I remember the day that God asked me to start a podcast, and I said, God, I can't do this. And he said, you can't do it on your own, but you can do it with me. And now we are 100 episodes in, and I absolutely couldn't have done it without the Lord. He has been with me through it all and has truly shown up in it. Every day that I want to give up, he shows me that I need to continue to go, continue to do this, continue to share the message he has placed on my heart. Thank you so much, Marie, for joining me today. I'm so excited to just chat and celebrate 100 years. Oof, not 100 years. 100 episodes of the Messy Girls Club. It's just such a joy to have you back on the podcast and sharing, about our friendship, about just the journey of everything that you've gone through. And yeah, I'm very thankful that you were able to come back on and be able to celebrate this with me, because I love that I get to celebrate something so special to me with some of the closest people that are a part of my life. True, because I truly try to be honest and open with the listeners that I've been on a trust journey, and it can be very hard. It can be very messy, and like walking in our faith can be very messy, but I feel like so many influencers make it look pretty and perfect, and that oftentimes we don't want to show the messy parts because we're thinking like, oh, if we're showing up on social media, we have to look perfect for these people so they know that this is where they should be in their walk. But the thing is, no matter how long we walk with God, we're going to have times where we struggle in our faith walk, or, struggle to trust him, or fall off the wagon with spending time with him. And so I really appreciate when people come on and talk about, honestly, their faith walks and their journey, and just embrace that they're part of the Messy Girls Club, because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one. And through this podcast and through the different social medias, it's been such a blessing to meet other people who feel like me, and they show up honest and real in their faith walk. We don't have to worry about, is God going to love me if I mess up or whatever, because the Bible shows us that he does. He loves us through our mess, and that's truly what the New Testament shows us. Like, Jesus came for the broken and not the perfect, which granted, a lot of that's not me. That comes from God. That doesn't come from me. Sometimes I get done with the podcast and I'm like editing it and listening back to it, and I'm like, whoa, like that came from God. There's no way that I would be able to know that or say that, or yeah, that was 100% the Holy Spirit. Following my calling has not been easy. There have been so many long nights and hard days, and days when I just question if this is what I should be doing and question why God called me to it. But I continue to keep going. I continue to look towards God and see what He wants me to do, because there's a reason He called me to it. Alright, I'm so excited. I get to welcome one of my sister-in-laws on the podcast. I have Sarah with me, and it is truly a blessing to be able to celebrate 100 episodes of the Messy Girls Club with my friends and family. And this is Sarah's first time on the podcast. I'm so excited, and I'm just so thankful that I have such a great relationship with my sister-in-laws that they feel willing to come celebrate this big milestone with me. So my first question for you, Sarah, is, are you a part of the Messy Girls Club?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like I'm very messy in like a literal sense.
So give us the inside scoop. I thought it would be fun because it's 100 episodes, and sometimes it is hard to portray the full me on social media. I'm not trying to hide or anything, but I feel like a little bit more of my more serious side comes out, especially when I'm talking about my faith walk and about like all the things, not because I want to portray that online, just because like, I mean, I have a joy within me because of finding my faith, and I think that shows, but sometimes my like more silly or adventurous side doesn't always show up on social media because of what I'm talking about. And I just thought it'd be fun for the listeners to get to know me a little bit better. So give them the inside scoop. Like, what am I like as a sister-in-law? Am I like as insightful as I pretend to be on the podcast? Just kidding. I don't pretend.
Yeah. You don't always see how like funny and like outgoing you actually are. I mean, you are very introverted, but when you're with your people, I feel like I keep doing that.
It's okay.
I feel like when you're with your people, we're constantly laughing and able to still have like the deep conversations, but for the most part, we're going on hikes and joking about something funny that just happened. Well, you always have really good advice.
Aww.
I feel like having you in my life for as long as it happened. I mean, you met me when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Yep.
And I kind of grown up with you, and we've really become like actual sisters, and not just through my brother.
Yep.
And I feel like I can just go to you and be like, so I'm going through this, and you'll be like, oh, I went through that too, and then be able to help me out a bit.
Oh, I'm so glad, because that was a big thing when I was young, that I was like, when I get married, I don't want it to be like, oh, these are my in-laws. These are just like people that I've been given, that, you know, sometimes it can seem a lot different with your in-laws versus like with your own family. And I really wanted it to be like, this is my like more family, like they are still so important to me. And it was something that I really craved and wanted when I married somebody, to have just, it's like extended family, like I just get more family. And that's really been such a blessing with all of you guys, because I feel like I truly am family, and not just like, oh, you're an in-law. And I just, I am so thankful for the relationship that I have gotten with all of you guys, because it's just such a blessing. 100 episodes might not seem like a big deal to you guys, but to me, it is such an amazing thing to look back on. It reminds me of the obedience of me following my calling, even when it was hard, and doing what God asked me. It's the reminder of the growth that has come through my faith by following my calling and by growing closer to God, to be able to help speak out on being too messy for God. It is just the reminder of God's blessing, of God's goodness. 100 episodes of God just working through an ordinary woman like me. And I honestly am in awe in all that he has done through these 100 episodes. Hey Elizabeth, thank you for jumping on and joining me to celebrate 100 episodes of the Messy Girls Club. I am so happy to have you back on the podcast to just share a little insight about the podcast, about your relationship with me, and about, your journey since you were on the podcast about 2 years ago. Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, we sometimes can forget about God's grace and think that even when I feel like when I was first a Christian, I was so focused on God's grace because, that saved me, that showed me who I was meant to be, and just kind of changed my perspective on Christianity when I experienced God's grace and forgiveness for everything that I've gone through. But then sometimes when we're walking with the Lord years down the path, sometimes I feel like we forget that God still has grace for us. I remind myself that it is so important to reach out to your community, no matter how big or small, because prayer changes things. And yeah, if you can't show up super well in your prayer life, get those people praying for you and reach out, because it could change the situation. I was in a rut in my faith early on because I was seeing so many perfect Christians or people portray their lives perfectly online, and it really made me question myself and my own faith walk. And I feel like that's why God called me to this, because I can't portray perfect even if I try really really hard, because I am just constantly a mess, I feel. I don't know what the calling is that God has placed on your heart, but this is your encouragement to keep going, to keep following it, even when it gets hard. I know it isn't easy to follow your calling, but God is calling you to it for a reason. And one day you might look back and be like, yeah, God, this is why. I thank you for each and every one of you who have made this possible, 100 episodes. God is so good.